What is up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video, and welcome back to B&B Garage. Alright, so if you guys have been following the channel for a little while, I've been watching the latest videos with the project car and everything, you guys might know what today's video is going to be. So I've been mentioning a video coming up about general maintenance, and that's exactly what today is. So I don't have all the fluids, so really all I'm going to be able to do is an oil change, but we can check trans fluid, we're going to check power steering fluid, and I'm going to let you guys know about some things that I've been doing off camera on this car and tell you guys what I've been dealing with. Alright, so before we jump into the project car and what we're actually doing today, let's take a throwback to one of our older videos where we revealed the car and where I talked about a minor problem. If I can find the clip, let me roll it real quick. When I first went to go pick up this car, I put the key in the ignition and it did not light up or anything like that, so I kind of figured either dead battery or dead alternator. So we kind of played around with it a little bit. We jumped it and tried to get it running. We got it running, and then it would just shut off instantly. So first thought for me was a dead cell in the battery. When I picked up the car, we were having electrical problems. So right here, we were having an issue with the battery. When we went to go pick this thing up, it would not start. So we ended up dropping a new battery in it. We didn't think it was the alternator at first, so we threw a new battery in it, got it home and everything, and then 2 days later, I didn't touch the car, and the car was completely dead. So I bought a battery charger, and I've been kind of troubleshooting this off camera. So I've been taking this off, throwing it on the battery charger, and then bringing it back over here. And then if I would start the car and leave it sit for 2 days, the car would be completely dead again. So we took this down to O'Reilly's and had them actually test this off of the battery to test the alternator, and the alternator and everything checked good. So we did have a loose connection right here for the negative terminal. So we grabbed a little shim for it, we popped that in there, wedged it in there, put the connector back on. Now it's nice and snug. And now it's been 2.5 days, and the car still starts up just fine with no issues. So that's been our oldest problem that we've been fighting on this car, or I've been fighting on this car, because Beans has not been able to help me yet. So the electrical issue, I think we might have resolved it, but I'm going to keep messing with that off camera a little bit. I know I haven't been keeping you guys informed on it, but that's just because it's a headache that I have to deal with, moving the car back and forth from the driveway to the street. So it's just something I've been trying to diagnose and get it fixed as fast as possible, and then I would let you guys know eventually. So you guys are aware, though, of the hood latch. We ended up damaging this some more because we threw the old hood on it just to have it parked, so I didn't throw the new one on so you guys could see that process. But we ended up damaging the hood latch more by latching the old hood onto it, but it's fine. We're taking it out anyways because, as you guys may know, we did get a new one. For the clamps that I was speaking of with the radiator clamps, it's actually these that we took, and I was incorrect. We needed ones to hold this fan shroud up, and so we don't have anything for it. So I think I'm just going to drill a new hole right here and then zip tie it right here to hold this thing up so it's not making contact with the fan while we're driving, and then we'll dive into a couple more things here in a minute. And then while we're up here, sorry, I just turned the light on because I just realized that we did not have the light on, so the other clips might be a little bit dark. So another couple things that we're going to dive into today is obviously we're going to be changing the engine oil, changing the oil filter. I got both of those. We're going to dive into the ABS module and troubleshoot it to see which ABS sensor is the bad one, because if you guys watch the project reveal video, the ABS light is still on. And then the last thing, we can't really do anything about it right now, but I do know that the power steering pump is leaking really bad. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. Let me see if I can shine a light down there for you guys. But there's a bunch of power steering fluid down there. It's also causing it to smoke because it's splattering all the way through the back there, and it's smoking right up along the firewall. So we're not going to be able to troubleshoot it today. I was going to get some fluid just to top it off today, but it's just going to leak all over the driveway or the street again. So we're just going to leave it empty. We might add a little bit in just to drive it back and forth from the street and everything, just so we're not tearing up that pump. But we will get a new pump for it in a little bit. But that's pretty much it that we're going to be diving into up here. So one last thing that we're going to dive into up there is obviously we're going to throw the new hood on. But while we have this car over here, I also went ahead and jacked it up so we don't have to worry about doing that on camera and everything. We're going to dive into the suspension, the brakes, and everything today, and just take a look at how everything looks under the car and see where we are at in needing to get parts for this thing. So another thing we might be doing today is I might chop the mufflers. I'm not entirely sure on it. I'm not set on it yet. I do want to do exhaust on this eventually, which we will get specific mufflers for. I'm not going to spoil that for you guys right now, but I think this car needs a little bit of noise, so I think we might chop the mufflers off today, but I'll keep you guys posted on where we get with that, and then we'll start popping these off and see where we end up. And then one more thing that we're going to dive into today for sure is we're taking this door off, the one that we got from the junk car. We're going to be putting on it with the new door panel and everything, so all of this is going to be getting removed today, and then we will have a window that should potentially be able to roll up and down and we won't have this gap anymore, so it'll be a little bit safer to keep outside overnight. All right, so without further ado, now that you guys know what we're doing today, let's jump into it. All right, everybody, we have now switched to the Insta360. That way it's a little bit easier for me to work on the car and everything. So let's go ahead and pop off these hubcaps and then we can check out these suspension components. Oh, we're missing a lug nut. That's good. That's a good sign, guys. We got one hubcap right there. And we're gonna pop over here. Pop off this hubcap. Oh good, this one's got all 5. Let's go ahead and pop these off real quick. Let's go ahead and pop this off. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and pop this one off as well. All right, so now that we've got the wheels and tires off of everything, I was looking at the brakes just a little bit, and you guys can see all these harsh lines that are in the rotors here. And then the brake pads themselves also look very worn. So we'll definitely need to do brakes, which I already kind of knew because it squeals pretty bad. But I also found our ABS issue. So as you guys can see right here, let me get a little bit closer for you guys. You guys can see that the wire right here is just completely snipped off, as long as right here as well. We have the sensor right here for it, but it's been beat up pretty bad and everything. So that's the issue on this side. Let me show you guys the driver or the passenger front real quick. We also have this one, which has been completely mutilated. We have the boot down here for it. And we also have the wire snipped up top. And I don't know where this goes to. It's probably back behind the fender or the wheel well right here, but I'm not sure exactly where it is. But same issue with the brakes up here. You guys can see all the wear on the rotor. And then the brake pads are pretty worn down as well, which, like I said, I already kind of knew it's going to need brakes because it squeals. So it's good to know, good to see. All the rest of the suspension looks pretty decent. Might need control arms on these as well. Because they are a little rusted through, but I think we'll be able to get by for now. We're not drifting this car tomorrow or anything, so definitely good for us to know in the future, but I definitely like to be able to see where we need to head as soon as possible, which we'll need brakes sooner than we need control arms, so very good information to know. And then also with the ABS, that solves that problem. I don't have to with the ABS stuff, I don't have to dive into the module and troubleshoot anything, because that's all the troubleshooting I needed right there. All right, so now that we've taken a look at everything, just moving these lugs out of the way real quick. Let's just go ahead and throw these back on real fast. Like I was saying, there's not really much we can do today. I just wanted to kind of take a look at everything and see where we are in standings and everything. See what we needed to do more recent. Okay, here we are. Yes. All right, real quick, I'm just gonna go ahead and take the car down off this side. I'm gonna raise it up on that side, do the same thing, take the tires off and everything for you before I show you guys, and then we'll dive into suspension and everything over there. All right, guys, so I got the driver's side wheels off. Now let's take a look at this. So same issue, we have worn rotors, worn pads, which I was expecting, like I said in the other clips, but this side's control arm actually looks pretty good. It's a little bit rusted, but we're not too worried about it. What I'm really looking at right now is right up here. Let me change this view for you guys. So I'm looking at these ABS sensors, and oddly enough, this one's intact. All the wiring's here and everything. So I could troubleshoot this one using the ABS module, but we're not going to do it today just because the other side's missing. So I'd like to get all the stuff that I need to be able to try to rewire that and everything. So we're not going to mess with it too much. I just kind of wanted to take a look at it on this side now. I was going to dive into it at the beginning, but now seeing that side, it's not even worth the headache today. So this side, same issue, worn rotors, worn pads, which like I said, I expected. And then this ABS sensor is also intact unlike the other two. So oddly enough, that side, whoever owned this car before must have had a problem or something over there and then just got lazy and snipped the sensors instead of actually working on it. So at some point I'll dive into that and everything, but now that I've got a basis for where we need to go, the CV boot or the axle boot down there, I also need to replace on that side because it's all shredded and everything. So another good thing for me to look for in the future, but now that I have a basis for the wheel suspension and everything, let's throw these back on and then start diving into other things that we need to do today. All right, so now that we don't need to dive into the ABS at all, we're just gonna go ahead and start putting this new hood on. So we're gonna take these old nubs off because they are a little dinged up. We got some brand new ones that came with the hood from the junkyard. We're just gonna go ahead and put these in. If it'll catch the threads. There we go. So we're getting this tightened up. Nice and snug. Okay, this is for the old hood. Just gonna take all that old hardware out of there. Set it down there on the ground. We're gonna move over to this side. This side was actually missing the peg for the hydraulic struts, so we're just gonna pop one in. Okay, now it's time to remove this damaged hood latch. We're just gonna start here. Start taking these off. All right, so I went ahead and popped the new latch in. Let's go ahead and get this all mounted up. I'm gonna start with this one just to hold that little peg in place, make sure she doesn't slip away from us. Just like that. Pop in this first bracket. Line up the second hole. Get that in there. So just like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this up and then we'll test it. All right, so just for comparison, you guys can see how dinged up this hood latch was. And now that one's all nice and clean. All right, so now that I got this all hooked up and everything, we're gonna test it with the new hood. There's no way for me really to test that arm actuating without locking it. So Miss Boosted's out here with me. We're gonna get this hood lined up. I don't know if I'm gonna record it or not. I'm gonna keep it recording, but if the audio or if the video is not very well, I'm just gonna clip it. So let's go ahead and get this lined up. All right, so it was pretty hard to put on and film a good angle and everything. So we just went ahead and lined everything up. We got the hood bolted in and everything. Now we're just gonna go ahead and get the hydraulic struts lined up. Right, now we need to steal these bolts real quick from the old hood for this little latch assembly. And then we're gonna use these 10 millimeters right up here and just remount this up in here. All right, so as you guys can see, we have the new hydraulic struts in. They're working, they're holding the hood up for us. We got this new latch assembly in real quick. We're gonna test and see if we can latch this without damaging it. Hey guys, so as you can see, the hood is now latched. You can see we do have a little bit of body issues still with this fender and everything, and even over here as well, but it is a lot better than it used to be. We also have the issue with these being flared at the top, but it's latched. Now it's time to test and make sure that this works. So Miss Boosted's in there. She's gonna pull the lever for us. Boom, just like that. Now she pops and everything like she should. Hydraulic struts work. This is gonna be so much easier to work on the car now. All right, so now that we got the hood all done, we're gonna go ahead and jump on this door right here. All right, so we went ahead and did a little bit of this off camera. We went ahead and popped off this panel right here, popped this little box open, and then disconnected the harness from the door. So now we have this all separated. Now we just gotta take these bolts off, get it unhinged, and pop out this little pin here. All right, so we went ahead and just knocked the pin up. The pin went up straight through the bottom, just like I had originally thought it would. It just took a little bit more effort than the one in the junkyard did. So we got that removed. We're gonna remove all these bolts real quick and get the old door off of this car. All right guys, so I did try to film a little bit of this, but it was too difficult with just me and Miss Boosted trying to get this door in place. We finally got it all bolted up. It's not going anywhere. We haven't tried closing it or anything yet. We still have to put a couple pieces together, but this is what I was talking about. The leather here is different than that leather, but I don't really care. It's also a completely different color than the outside of the body, but as long as it works, then I don't really care. Hopefully this window will go up and down like it's supposed to. And then we also need to put all this stuff back together. So we're gonna do that real quick off camera, and then we'll do a closing test to make sure everything's still closing like it should be, and then we'll be back with you guys shortly. All right, so now we're gonna test this door, or the window. Boom, like a glove. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see, but the lock on the door cycles like it's supposed to. The next part of this video, we're just gonna go ahead and jump straight to the oil change. So let me go ahead and get the front of this car lifted up and everything, and we'll start working on it. All right, y'all, so quick change of plans. I'm not gonna use the 360 just because it's gonna be a tight squeeze, and I don't think I'm gonna get very good footage down there doing the oil change. So what I'm gonna do instead, actually, is I'm gonna go ahead and set this camera up and prop it up just a little bit so you guys can see me underneath the car working on it. So we'll try that out. If the video doesn't seem to be good when I'm in editing stage, then I'll just cut that part out, but we'll give it a shot and try to take you guys on the journey with us. All right. Hopefully this is in a good spot here. Unleash the piss missile. Oil looks pretty good. Looks pretty healthy. All right, guys, so we got our new filter right here. I know some people don't do this, but I typically do when changing oil. Grab a little bit of that old oil and cover up that little bit of rubber right there. I know some people pre-fill their oil filters. I don't know who in the hell does that. But I just like to coat that rubber, get it nice and lubricated before we put her back on. Let's go ahead and get this lined up here. Get her threaded on. Nice and smooth. Alright, so now that I got the car back on the ground, we're on the 360 now. It's a little bit easier to film. Look at those hydraulic struts working like a charm. So now we're going to go ahead and top off the engine oil. We got the cap right here. Bada bing, bada boom. Just checking out the cap real quick, making sure it's good. This recommends 5W30, which is perfect. That's what I bought. I know some people do 10W30, but we're gonna run 5W30. We got Mobil 1 synthetic, some good oil for her. Go ahead and put the funnel down in there. So this thing takes 5.4 quarts. So I bought 6. So we're gonna go ahead and just use the entirety of this little bottle. Boom, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up. All right, we got the oil cap back on. We're gonna go ahead and start it and let it run for a couple minutes just to make sure that nothing's leaking. Let that new oil get all up in that motor. Just gonna watch it for some leaks, and then we'll see how we're doing. Might see some smoking right here. I did overflow the funnel just a little bit, so there might be some leakage going down there, or some smoke coming out from it, but other than that, we should be good to go. I'll watch underneath the car for any leaks or anything, and then we'll see where we are in a few minutes. All right, so I let the car run for a few minutes. No leaks down there at all from the drain plug or the filter. I was worried a little bit about the drain plug just because I reused the gasket on it, but it looks like we're gonna be good this time. So let's go ahead and check the oil, make sure that we are completely full. Let's pull it out one time, wipe her off, and then get her back down in there. Nice and gently. All right, let's check her again. See where she's at. She could use a little bit more. Yeah, we'll put a little bit more in her just to make sure that she's full. All right, so like I was saying at the beginning of the video, I did mention how I thought I might be doing the exhaust today. We will. We're gonna be doing it because as I was looking under there while we're doing the suspension and everything, I realized that the secondary mufflers are going to be a little bit easier to remove than I thought they were. So it's one bolt just holding them in, and then probably a singular hanger down there as well. So should be super quick and easy. So we're going to go ahead and get the rear end of this car lifted up. We should be done with the Insta360 because I'm not going to be able to film under the car with it. It's just going to be a confined space like the oil was. So I'm going to film off of this. I'm going to prop it up just like I did with the oil change, and then I'll see you guys once the car's propped up. All right, y'all, so you can see you got the car jacked up and everything. I got all my tools under there that I'm gonna need. I got a socket set, I got a wrench set, and then a mallet a rubber mallet, and then the other tool I'm going to need is patience, because it's an old car. You need patience in working on old cars. I also got this little thing. It's an attachment for the shop vac to hold you guys up. I'm going to get you guys set up underneath the car, and then we'll get rolling. A little bit. Get some more leverage on it. There we go. Just like that. Alright, so real quick, little update real quick. I got this bolt out of here. This bolt was holding this clamp together. There's a whole bunch of sand down here, but it is what it is. So we got that clamp loose, and then the next thing we're working on right now are these hangers. Very nice hangers instead of the old-fashioned ones that we're used to. This one's just got a little rubber band right here that holds it onto this little bracket. Super nice and simple. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that off real quick. So after that little update real quick, before I get back to doing what I'm doing, I'm going to take the camera out of there. There's a lot of sand underneath this car. I don't want sand getting all up on my lens and everything like that, so I'm going to try to keep the camera clean. I'm going to keep you guys out of it. I showed you guys what I'm working on. Let me get to finishing this, and then I'll give you guys a sound update. Alright, so now the exhaust situation is all taken care of, but I couldn't really update you guys because I was fighting a lot of things, and also I'm fighting the sun going down, so let me give you guys an update. The primary mufflers were welded on, so I went on to the secondary mufflers. They ended up being welded on as well, so unfortunately we lost them both because I was determined to get them off after everything I went through. But we did have to cut it off, did a shitty cutting job with the Sawzall, so that'll be the mufflers shop's issue once we get the actual mufflers that we're going to put on this car. So, alright, so before we start this old girl, I know I said I went through a lot of things, but it wasn't really all that too much. It was just a lot for me. Since I was working on it by myself, I was getting a little bit irritated. I got a whole bunch of sand in my eye because for some reason this car's got a lot of sand in it. I know we're in Arizona, but good God almighty, there was a lot of sand in this car. Not only outside of it, but remember when I was doing the detailing video, there was a bunch inside as well. So I got a bunch of sand in my eye. I also got some carb cleaner in my eye because I didn't have brake cleaner, so that's all I really had. So got that in my eye. I was just getting a whole irritated and everything. So nothing was going to stop me from exposing this V8's Japanese bald eagles. I was determined it was happening. So here we are. Without further ado, let's start her up. Now that the old girl's had a little bit of a chance to warm up after we did those little bit of cold start revs, I know it's not recommended to do so, but couldn't hold myself. The Japanese bald eagles needed to come out a little bit. So real quick, me and Miss Boosted are going to go take this thing on a spin, give you guys a sound clip of what it sounds like, and here we go. Alright, so now that you guys got to experience the Japanese bald eagles with us, that's pretty much going to be it for today. We got a lot accomplished. We found out what our ABS problem was. We got a new oil change done. We went through and did the exhaust. We did a whole bunch of stuff today, so it was very eventful. We got a lot of things fixed. There's obviously still a lot to do. I know in those exhaust notes, I haven't gotten a chance to look at them yet, but I'm sure you guys heard the power steering pump screaming, so that's next on our agenda. We also need to re-look at that fan shroud that we just fixed because I think it's still colliding with the fan, so I might just rip it out completely because it's just going to cause us more problems in the end. But I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. It was more eventful than usual. I know our latest uploads have been kind of boring, very short videos, but I plan to change that. I just kind of strapped for cash right now. Even though we just got rid of the Corolla, there's still a couple fees and things that I'm still paying off, so we're still kind of strapped for cash, plus I'm the only one that's really doing anything right now because being stepped away, so I don't have any other financial assistance right now, so I'm doing the best that I can to give you guys as much content as possible. So with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, make sure to drop a like on this video. Comment down below what your favorite part was, what we should do next. Subscribe, turn on bell notifications so you get notified when I make more content, and share it with your friends so that way we can spread our audience out as far as possible. If you guys are interested, join the Discord. I'll have the link down there in the description for you. But that's going to be it for today. Peace, guys.